For those of you who don't know me, I'm a singer-songwriter, composer, live performer, a creative entrepreneur, and a mom. I wear all these badges with a lot of pride, and I'm a self-made woman. I say that because whatever I have done in my life so far, I have put in, I can't really tell you so much about what it takes for one to achieve one's dreams, but I can tell you simple secret. Everybody says talent is important. Everybody says hard work, determination is important. And I think those are given. You need to have some amount of talent. You need to have some amount of grit. But what is the most important ingredient towards moving forward? What makes the wheels of your dream keep churning? That's courage. And I think I can share my story. And from my story, I can tell you that I have not always been the hero of my story. I have been the hero in parts. I have also not been the hero in parts. So I want to be very honest and candid with you when I tell you that this girl who saw a dream as a small town girl had a lot of trouble. My parents had to abandon everything that they had come to Jammu during the Kashmiri Pandit exodus. So we came from a baggage of law, and we were always taught to be in survival mode more than dream mode. So that's the difference between to be told that you can dream or to be told that you should survive. For us, it was about survival. Tested path of education, of towing the line, of doing exactly what you must do, go to a good college, get a good education, make sure you get a good job, was a path that even we were taught to have. So I did have a spark in me as a little girl who used to sing in front of the mirror and dance in front of the mirror and think that, oh my God, I would be on a big stage one day. The spark was there. But I didn't act on my dreams because I wasn't sure if I would ever achieve them. Because as a small town girl, I didn't deciding that no, I will take an action to achieve the dream. So that's the two key mantras, courage and action, I think, which I will keep sewing into the story as we go along, as I tell you about my journey. It was my Indian Idol, the second season, when it was still a new phenomenon in the country. And me, as a small town girl from Jammu, being a part of a competition of this scale, couldn't imagine that, why would she even be selected? So the talent was there, yes, but the validation for the talent and the courage to go and put myself out there, that push came from my brother. And I did that finally. And before I knew it, I was in the finals. That was talent. But what was important for me to take the step towards realizing that dream was courage and action of going there and putting myself out there. What happened after that was a lot of fame ensued, and I was a young girl of 17 years of age. And for me, that kind of fame was extremely new. And to be recognized on the roads, people taking your autographs, people asking for your interested to know about your story. Suddenly people on the road know your name. In your college, people know you too much more than you were expected to. And while I was always an outgoing, happy-go-lucky girl, that failure at a very young age of 18 years, I'm sharing the story with you in a not in a way where it is not linear. I don't want to tell you that I have been an all and out, everything has been beautiful, and I have been 100% perfect from the beginning. I wasn't. I didn't take this failure very well, and that's the big lesson that I learned. While I had the courage, while I had the action, and when I got the success, but the reality is that the failure also comes with success. There is a time that failure will come. I didn't have it in me to embrace the failure. So uh, so I didn't embrace it so well, and decided to march on a very different path. In the long term, that turned out to be beautiful and great for someone like me, because I decided to start a corporate career and started from the very scratch. So as someone who was known, so for me, at the time, in anger, I decided that I will make another career or another life path of my own, and I will be able to still succeed, because the music industry wasn't very safe for women back then. When I'm talking about 2005, 2006, it wasn't as welcoming to new talent. It wasn't about independent music. It was only about monopoly and Bollywood, and I had a lot of other challenges that came my way. And yeah, in hindsight today, I realize that maybe I should have dealt with that failure better. But in the way I dealt with it was that I decided to pursue something else with equal stronger force, and that in hindsight turned out to be beautiful. So even if failure happens, and we don't always deal with failure in the best way, because that happens to all of us, we are human, I want to tell you that it's okay. At the end of the day, whatever path that you will take on in life, nothing that you will ever do will go for a waste. So, every single thing that I learned in my corporate career, when I started as the most junior executive in the most smallest of a firm in a newspaper, and by the time I was in my corporate career, I ended that journey by being the head of a big television network in one region. And that growth, that learning, and everything that I was doing with so much passion, because I was so determined to prove myself and do something, make something of myself, came from, again, courage and action. It took a lot of courage for someone who used to be famous on TV to go and start as a PR exec at a very small newspaper, and go and start knocking on doors, and suddenly be not known from being so known. And I'm so happy and glad about that experience in hindsight, because it really humbled me. The next thing that happened after that was, of course, music was always my calling. In a shorter span of time, I did try to tell myself that no, I'm supposed to be on another path, but there was a big part of me, there was a huge void that I was trying to fill in my life, which the money did not help with. Although I was making a very fat paycheck, and a very stable career was not helping with, being very good at my job was also not helping with. There was a void, and there was a time where I couldn't put it off anymore. But at the same time, I feel like as an artist, I was always meant to tell my own story. I was always meant to be an independent artist and tell a very unique story. I guess eventually, in hindsight, I do realize that I'm someone who's driven by a lot of passion, and if I don't see that passion translate into purpose from the place of where I belong and from my roots, when I went back to take a small trip to the valley, and that became an education for me, because I went in as a 23, 24-year old with a very new, unique perspective on uh, life, and on on what the situation is. And I was so much more aware and open. And when I met the local people, and I met people of my land, and I experienced my land in a very new light, it opened my eyes to the inspiration that I was seeking for my music, and that came from Kashmir. And I happened to visit the home that we used to own, and that is where, while it was an emotional moment and the tears didn't stop, it also gave me a very, very firm purpose that there will be a day that I will change the dialogue around my land and make it positive, and I will make people see other aspects of Kashmir from what they otherwise talk about. And the whole place and everybody can do with a lot of positivity. And that's what I started working towards. That was my purpose, and music and everything as a part of it was secondary. The purpose was very clear, that it will be to create a positive dialogue. So Sound of Kashmir, this is where the courage and the action comes in again. While I had the dream, the main ingredient was again courage, to leave my corporate job, leave a comfortable, cushy career, and take the action of starting again from scratch, and almost playing to in smaller venues, small clubs, little places where you wouldn't even have 5 to 6 people in the audience. I started with 6 people, moved to say 10, then 20, and then 30, and then 3,000, and then 13,000. That's the journey that I have taken as an independent artist, and I'm so proud of that journey, because it's made me realize that there is nothing that if you put your mind to it, that you cannot achieve. For me, the manifestation of performing across the dull and people dancing and singing together also came true when I went to perform a historic concert. After my viral track Hukus Bukus became a rage in Kashmir and the rest of the country, I was invited to perform, and that night I saw the catalysis, the that I could, as an artist, catalyze an emotion in people, which was about joy, which was about happiness, which was about togetherness. And in my entire career, I still rate that as my number one achievement, because I performed a historic concert where even cinemas were shut back then in Kashmir for 30 years, and people came together and they danced together. And for that one night, everyone forgot about everything else. And that made me very, very happy. So, again, I think it was the purpose, the courage, the action that resulted in a change that happened, not just for me, even for the industry. When I started doing Kashmiri folk music, there wasn't anyone else who was even looking at the language. It was not you light can ignite a whole new fire, in not just in you, in so many other people, and that benefits so many more people than just you. So the purpose of, again, artists is to catalyze dreams like that, and that's been my journey. And cut to that, and music and how I got recognized, and eventually I had hit songs, and I had a lot of successful albums. What became very, very exciting for me after that was that I had this urge in me to become a mom. And while I didn't think of that as something that I want to do for myself at the beginning, it became very, very strong. So this is the part where I want to talk about how dreams evolve and how your life evolves, and how your dreams will evolve as you go along and as your life evolves around it. While I was touring successfully, playing huge stages, there was a part of me, an instinct in me, that told me very strongly that I was ready to be a mother. So it was very confusing for someone like me, because I had taken such a long effort to create a career from scratch again. So I obviously was scared. I had my apprehensions about taking a break from my career, and how will I manage, and how will there be space for a new human being in my life apart from my music, which is my baby. But yes, I'm very excited to tell you that after I took the courage and took the action, eventually today, as I became a mom, I realized that I am a much whole be a mom and also work. And there are women who make the choice of not working after they become mothers, and which is an absolutely respectful choice. But then I knew in myself that I want to, while I have an identity as a mother of this child, I also have an identity of my own, and I owe a lot to that identity. And I want to make sure that I am fulfilling that identity too. So I did what I had to do. I made sure that I have some help and some support, and then a lot of determination to make sure that I am able to get up and go to work every day. And I do that today because I want to set an example for my daughter. I want to set the example for her that she, like I was raised to survive, she will not be raised to just survive. She will be raised to dream. She will be raised to have a voice of her own, even as a woman in this world, which I have faced a lot of challenges as a because of my gender, and this is a reality and an obvious truth, and it's here to stay for some time. I don't think it's going away anywhere. But from all the learnings that I have had, I want to lead by example and show her that a woman who follows her dreams, because tomorrow, if she as she grows up, she's if she watches her mom work, she's going to have the same amount of ethic in. I want to tell you very honestly that motherhood comes with so much joy and so much delight, but it comes with a huge, huge challenge. Your life is not the same, you are not the same person, but that evolution of your dream now versus what your dream was, life will not be the same. What I dreamt as a 24-year-old, I don't dream the same as at 34. I have bigger dreams, but I have also a determination and a bigger force that drives me, which is my daughter. I want to make sure that I do better for her. And though it takes a physical, mental, emotional toll, and it's extremely hard and challenging. I feel more fulfilled as a creative professional today than she has come to my concerts, and you will see her in the front row dancing. And I remember when I was pregnant with her, I used to think about what it's going to be like, because I'm a performing musician, I'm a traveling musician. How will it all happen? But magically, and with God's grace and with a lot of hard work put in by me, my support system, everything did work out. But today, I did manifest this too, that she will be at the backstage dancing at my concerts, and that happens. So what I want to tell you is that nothing is impossible if you put your mind to it. What's most important, more important than talent and courage, talent and determination, is 100% courage and action, and the fact that you must never stop. And even if failure does come, and it must come, make it your best friend. I wish I had done that earlier. That's the learning that I told you. Today, when I fail, and I fail a lot, even as an artist who's known by so many people with a considerable name, there are, on a daily basis, there are multiple wins and multiple failures that come my way. I embrace failure a lot better, and I learn so much more from it than I did before. And that's because I learned that nothing in life is permanent, neither your success nor your failure. Everything is transient. Fame is the most transient of them all. What is most important for you to keep going at your dream is your purpose. If you're clear about your purpose, and if you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, you're going to find happiness and fulfillment in following your dreams beyond just things that come along with it, perks like money and fame and all of that. So I hope I have been able to share uh, a little bit from my small little humble journey of this small town girl who is today a self made creative entrepreneur, artist, mother, and a full time musician. I hope I've been able to give you some inspiration today and been able to tell you that if I can do it, you can do it